How much could it cost you to buy a house by 2030? We'll also talk about Los Gatos homes for sale, and then we'll also go through the highs and lows of Santa Clara County for this last week. Let's get into it. Cameraman, there you go. Get me centered up. Thank you. So, real quick, I want to talk about mortgage rates. It's up a little bit over last week, 6.87, but that doesn't mean you're stuck at 6.87. You can buy it down. I just wrote an offer for probably not going to get it, but 3.5% towards closing cost and points, which means it'll bring it way down. So there's a lot of room for negotiation when it comes to working with experienced buying agents. Gas is $3.65. It is right here, premium gas on Washington Street, right by the Rosicrucian. Look at that, $3.65. $3.65. Let's see where, there you go. It's this one right here. Anyway, it's right by that Burger King. You can go see it, $3.65. I might go fill up over there because where I usually fill up at my Costco, it is $3.89. I'm not going to drive all the way out there for a couple bucks. But anyway, $3.65. It's coming down. Election year. This is how much it would cost to buy a house in the U.S. by 2030. We're not going to talk about savings because that's a whole nother subject. We have financial intelligence for that, and we can go into that a little bit more. But I wanted to point out the average home value in Nashville will reach $539. New York City will be $964. Houston will see $309. That's median sales price. Now, across the United States, back in 1996, it was $112,000. That's about when I bought my first house for $2.5, and it was way below the median. It was a starter house, nothing to it. I think at that time it was in Santa Clara County, median sales price was like, I want to say $275. And then 2006, it was $215. And then in 2016, it was $224. And then 2021, which is when it jumped way up. That was the firestorm that we had. That was $343, and it's still continuing to go up, $381. We actually had it all the way up to $416 at one time, June last year, I believe. I took the liberty of taking this and plugging it into this and assuming that if nothing different goes up and we see about an 11% increase every year, I just did averages. The average price by 2030 could be $475. Not saying it's going to be, but plus or minus, it'll be about $475, right? We could see another firestorm like we did in 2021 where it jumped up crazy, but probably not. If you follow this line, it's a complete trajectory, and you'll probably be paying the median price for a house in the US by 2030 will probably be $475. This article never really says anything about what they think it's going to be. It just goes into, I don't know, just how you should start saving. There's no real guess. That's a crystal ball. I would call that a wag or a wild bleep guess. Leave it at that. Now, the chart right here, it's a fun little chart because over the last 5 years, I want to demonstrate to home buyers that they're missing out on a huge amount of equity. So how do you break it down by the year? And how much do you lose per day? You're losing $320, about $335 median, $377 per day. If you took that number and rounded it up to 30 days, it would be $11,000 a day you're walking away from. That's the average. By renting and giving somebody else your mortgage or paying off their mortgage, by renting somebody else's house or apartment, you're paying a huge amount of money. And look, I'm not saying that this is going to be continued trends or what have you, but over the last 5 years, every month you walked away from $11,000, about average, if you're living in Santa Clara County. Now I broke it down for you in San Jose, just for a couple different numbers. And guys, this is just averages, right? If you bought in the lower threshold, you're probably looking at something a little bit less, probably like $6,000 a month loss on top of your $2,500, $3,500 a month rent. So it's a powerful thing to see how much you're losing when you put it nuts and bolts. Again, this might not continue this way, right? Because 2021 was a crazy time, and a lot of people opted to not buy a house. This is the same thing in Cupertino. If you bought something in Cupertino, it would have been a lot crazier. Oh, I know what I did. I had there 50, almost $16,000 a day that you're walking away from. Los Gatos is 10,000, and in Mountain View you're walking away from. So it's roughly $10,000 a month you're walking away from equity build. That's why this is a powerful thing. Just to put it into perspective, you're losing money every day, 300, almost $400 a day by not owning a house. I'm not saying that's the exact number, right? If you're a home buyer, you're renting and you can't afford it, there's certain things that you could do. You could buy into a townhouse. Now, your equity gain on a townhouse or a condo is not going to be as great as a single family house. This is just single family houses, but at least you're in the market. You're stepping into the market. And I'm not telling you not to, right? I'm just telling you this is what you're doing by not owning a house. I had a conversation with a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago when I did this, and he was speechless, and he's a renter and he's been renting for 30 years. So imagine how much equity you could have if you pay off your house and on top of that get that equity build. It's why it's important to be a homeowner. Now, this is where it comes into crazy, right? In order to buy a median priced house, right? We know what the median price house is because 2,088,000. So 2,088,000, if you have a 20% down payment, you need to have $400,000 down. And at 5.75, your monthly payment would be, this is just guess, right? How much do you need to make in order to be able to buy a $2 million house? The going conservative income to loan ratio is 40%. If you make, in this thing, this is where it comes in, $150,000 a year combined income, your monthly income would be $37,000. 37 or 40% of that would be 15%. See? And then the multiplier, I just did the income, the loan amount divided by the monthly payment, the PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, right? You have to talk to a lender to get it. So you qualify for that much. Now, this can go up and down, right? You can go all the way up to 65%. I don't like people to do that, but when you're in a situation, there you go. Now, my house isn't worth $2 million. I can tell you that I bought my house when it was worth $690,000, right? 20 something years ago. And if I lived in Los Gatos, my house would have been worth a whole lot more. If I bought it in Mountain View, it would have been worth a whole lot more. I couldn't afford that kind of a house, so I bought in San Jose, South San Jose, and it's a great neighborhood. So don't get me wrong. What I'm missing out on is the equity build that I could have had in Mountain View or Cupertino or something. Just couldn't afford it at that time. Now, can you afford, if you're making $200,000 combined income, you can buy a house for about $1 million, right? Plus or minus, or 1.25. And there's different ways of working around that. So don't give up, buy a house, get into a house right away. And if you're interested in learning more, call me. I'll get you qualified. I'll get you approved, and we'll go through an entire process. I actually have a home buyer's course. It's in my blog. You can check it out. It's free. I don't bug you. I don't call you every 15 times a day. When you're ready to sign up and work with me, I'm full press at your footsteps, ready to help you, but I don't do the naggy, buggy thing. I'm there to help you, not to bug you. Okay, enough of that. Los Gatos House of the Week. I think we looked at this last week. Fairview Plaza. This is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house in Los Gatos. 1,222 square feet. It's a little rough. It's original everything. Now, that looks like it's been updated, but that side of the kitchen has not been. So I'm not sure what's going on there. It looks old, feels old, probably smells old, and it is old. It's built in 1900, 24 years old now. So there's been some updates, a little cramped, but it's a Los Gatos property and it's downtown. It's walking distance to all the fine restaurants in Los Gatos. It's 123 years old. It's been on the market 112 days, and they just recently reduced it from $2 million down to 1.6. So there you go. That's a great buy if you're looking at buying a house. Maccabee Road. What is this? Oh, that is a median priced house that's actively for sale right now. It's been on market for 13 days, 4-bedroom, 3-bath. So going back to the whole buy thing, right? Okay. So we're going to talk about the highs and lows of Santa Clara County this last week. The first one is Tollgate. These are not my listings, by the way. It was on market for 46 days. The original list price was 6.3, sold for 6.038. 5-bedroom, 6-bath, 4,700 square feet. It's 1.3 acres. This is an awesome house too. I think I looked through this once. Now, this is in the Saratoga Hills. So you're up in the hills a little bit. That up for you. So Los Gatos, Montessorino, Saratoga, Cupertino's right here. I just went hiking back here this last weekend. So this is a preeminent Saratoga house, and it was sold for $6 million. Gorgeous, gorgeous house. Pool, rustic old world look and charm, tray ceiling, lots of light, beautiful house. Congratulations to the buyers. This is the lowest priced house in San Jose or in Santa Clara County. And this is an older house too. This looks like an older craftsman style, but it looks and feels old, right? Nothing updated. Sold for $600,000. Now they were smart. They underpriced it, sold it, listed at $500,000. They had a bunch of bids, and it sold for 20% over list price. 10 days on market. They didn't have to worry about it. This is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 949 square foot, and it's close to the freeway. So they were smart to list it low on this one. This is the highest list price to sales price ratio, Eden Ave in Sunnyvale. Now look at this. So Rinconada, Eichler, painfully old, nothing updated, and it sold for $1.7 million. The lowest list price to sales price ratio is in Los Gatos, up in the Los Gatos Mountains. So even though it's past Lexington, this is downtown Los Gatos, so you're still driving 15, 20 minutes after you get to Los Gatos. I've been back there. It is dark and dreary until you get to your place, and if you have it clear cut out, then you're good. Last year, I sold a house. It wound up being an Aptos, but we looked at houses all over this place, and crazy. You really need a 4-wheel drive to have this kind of a house, and it is rustic living. It's a pretty house. I love the wood grain, but there you go. That sold for 82% of original list price. Eden, that one in Sunnyvale, the one that was really rough, sold for 36% over list price. Today we talked about gas prices going down. How much does a house cost, or how much will a house cost by 2030? We did talk a little bit about how much it costs you every day to not own a house, and the Los Gatos house, and the highs and lows of Santa Clara County. I'm Vito with Abitano. If you have any questions or you want to see some other data, please let me know. I'm always happy to help out. We'll see you out there.